Good afternoon, everybody. So, today we're going to look at creative writing, an essential part of uh, English learning. And so, we're just going to have a look at this 20 slide PowerPoint to help you. So, let's just go on to the first one. So, what is the definition of creative writing? It's to write something creatively which will examine your ability to plan, create, and then write in an organised manner. You need to write an original story or complete a continuous prose exercise in the same style of writing when you're given the start of a story piece of writing and you continue it. So, basically, the examiner wants to see how you can write, if you can actually communicate uh, the written word. And so they'll either give you a story, a creative story, or complete continuous prose exercise that you continue writing. Planning, effective planning is absolutely vital. So write this down in your notes. Planning will help you organise your thoughts. Always give yourself 5 minutes planning. Timing will be specified at the beginning of any task, but keep your eye on the progress so you can finish in time. Don't need to spend too long planning, but only about 5 minutes. But you do need to do it. You can always tell if a student hasn't planned because it's all over the place. Use a mind map, a spidergram, a flow chart, or a chart, whatever it helps, but plan. And also use my template. It's got another video that talks about everything you need to put in to a piece of writing. So within your planning, get the template down, the sort of 10 things you need to put in a piece of writing, which can be different sentences, rule of three, complex, sophisticated adjectives, 8 types of punctuation. Imagery, always use imagery. And sense description, and WAA sentences. It's whether action adverb using personification. Anyway, you can see all my other creative writing videos for that. But you need to put down all your ideas in a plan, basically, including the essentials you need to put in. So there's different types of creative writing. The genre, it's called genre types. There's fiction, horror, adventure, fable, stories with flashbacks, fantasy adventures, mystery stories, etc. And there's non-fiction, which is factual reports, letters, newspaper stories, adverts and flyers, articles, biographies, newsletters, diaries, etc. So journaling. So there's different types: persuasive writing, persuasive pieces. Okay, so there's different types, fiction and non-fiction. You'll be asked to write either. So use story starting points. Include the 5 senses, as I've just said: for touch, the fluffy fur of the dog; for smell, the strong smell of the loft; for seeing, the wonderful sunrise; for hearing, the humming of the bumblebee; and for taste, the sumptuous pudding. But always make sure that you put all the senses in, because if you do not do this, you will have quite a flat description, and we're trying to make an in-depth description, like we're stepping into your magic world. By the way, whoever did this PowerPoint, which it wasn't me, I have to confess, that use story starting points, that says there's a lowercase s, you do not need an s, a capital there. So let's just carry on. The flashback. It is called a backstory, and it refers to what happened just before your story. I like the flashback. The main story is being told in the past tense, and the flashback in the present tense. This reverses what the audience or reader expects. So they're suggesting that you do the backstory in the past tense, and then you do a flash forward. Then that could be a flash forward, isn't it, in the present tense? You can show the transition to a flashback with an ellipsis, ... and then a new paragraph, e.g. ... He daydreamed, or ... She cast her mind back, ... Or you can actually just say, the sun is shining, the sky is blue, we're walking along the street and it's absolutely wonderful. Flashback. Last time we did this, as we were walking on the road, a car hurtled across and crashed into the lake, and we spent many, many hours trying to fish out these poor individuals who were still in the car and were under the water. So that's actually using a flashback. Flashbacks can be used in all different sorts of ways, basically. But I always like to put a flashback in. Last time I did this, or last time I. So if I'm sitting in my room now, I'm sitting in my room, I'm sitting in my study, I'm staring out of the window. Last time I sat in my study, it was absolutely pouring with rain, and I'd forgotten to close the window, and all my books got wet. So you can actually, you can put lots and lots of different ideas, but flashback, it gives you a more of a structure, really. Or last summer we went here with my grandma, but now she's no longer with us, so we're here alone and we're feeling the loss or whatever. You can say whatever you want, but flashback can add depth. Let's go on to the next one. The flash forward, yeah, so we talked about flash forward. The character or time will pass and move to some future event in order for the story to continue. Um, yeah, so the past tense is used for the present, and the present tense is used for the future. So I was a teacher, and I taught in a secondary school in a little town in the UK, close to London. Um, and I was happily ensconced in this um, old ex-convent building for over 22 years. Now I have my own business and I'm free to do exactly what I want, and I no longer have to live by the bell. So that you've got the past tense when I teaching at the school, and now no longer teaching at the school. So you can compare the two, flash forward, flash back. So yeah, fun that one. Create tension. Correct pressure must be kept throughout the story, otherwise the interest must be lost. So don't actually always try and create an atmosphere, create suspense when you can, create anticipation, create surprise. That's not a capital there, naughty. Whoever wrote this, where character is finding is something or landed on a strange situation. Create curiosity by using magical mystery. So create suspense, like when I was a teacher all those years ago, the most amazing thing happened to me one day. That's suspense, anticipation. Now I am a self-employed and I work from home. Um, Something even more incredible happened actually when the whole world changed one day and the world stopped because of an amazing thing happened. COVID-19. Okay, so you can create anticipation, you can create suspense, or you can create surprise. Suddenly, a dragon landed in the garden. That'll add interest, won't it? Or create curiosity by using magic or mystery. We didn't know where she came from. We didn't know how old she was. We didn't even know what language she was speaking, but she certainly appeared to be jolly interesting. All right, so you can create all those things very easily, actually. So try and create suspense, anticipation, surprise, or curiosity. Probably not all of them at once because it will be a bit confusing. And you're only going to have about 600 words. So just I probably decided what to use one or two of those. Okay. The W questions. Where does your story take place? Country, region, locality, specific location, and you need to just be really aware that you describe where it takes place, when it takes place, yesterday, today, tomorrow, in about an hour, in the summer, in the autumn, in the spring, in festivals. It could be harvest, Christmas, Easter, Diwali, Eid. When is it taking place? Minimally today, yesterday, last year, a year ago, in the summer. Okay. Who does it involve? The protagonist, the hero? You always got to sort of have a main hero of your story and probably describe them in great detail, please. Give them about 5 sentences so you know what colour hair they've got, what their personality is, what they like doing. Let us care about the person in the story, otherwise it isn't very interesting. The antagonist, the opponent, there's usually another character in there, the second important character. All sorts of things might happen. It could be the mum or a best friend or a sister. Or to be honest, the antagonist could be the weather or something, if the weather gets in the way and makes you miserable. Okay. You don't have to bother so much with this. I think probably the reflection or ally, I wouldn't bother so much about that either. But I would be very careful to describe the protagonist and the hero, the main character of your story, and the and some opposition, something happening, going against them. Whether it rains on someone on a bike ride, that can be, the antagonist or the opponent, the weather, or you can have the mum, or you can have being locked out, or you can have, but yeah, you can have some kind of something happened to them basically. It can be an event really. Don't, because you've only got 600 words, you don't want to have too many characters in there because you haven't got time to explore it. What happens in the story? Talk about what happened and talk about the main character's thoughts and feelings, and try and do some dialogue in there as well, and try and do some emotive language, and try and start with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And often start with a beginning. You could talk about the weather, rain, 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 and then you could end up he was still soaked through or something. You can start the end can sort of make it circular really, or you could be really, really snowing and cold and miserable, and then it's Christmas and Grandma turns up and you have a big party and you get the horse you asked for, and you stare out of the window and the snow twinkled back at you. So nice circular storyline. Why does your story take place? Ensure your story has a theme or a moral. It has a message, basically. Yeah, so try and have a message, though otherwise it's a bit boring. So that you're getting your horse, and it's Christmas, and your message is how lucky you are to be in the world, and to be grateful, I suppose, could be your message for that one. Or you're locked out. Don't forget your key. That could be your message. Always try and stay a little bit abreast of events, or if you're washed out, be prepared, or whatever is your story message. Apart from the standard simple forms of punctuation, you've got to use correct punctuation like capital letters, full stops, exclamation marks, and commas. When you need to show off less commonly used punctuation marks, e.g., ellipses, brackets, colons, semicolons, hyphens, and apostrophes. In my other videos, I go through all of these. Mr. Bruff has some really good ones as well, but I also go through them. So particularly semicolons, really important, the hyphens, and students always get apostrophes wrong, so make sure you know how to use them, please. Make sure you use grammar correctly and your sentences are complete and make sense. Please proofread it to make sure it makes sense when you read it back. Read it out loud if you can. Use the correct form of the verb for the tense used. Use simple sentences. I don't know, again, it's naughty teachers, put a capital S there. Use simple sentences, including compound and complex sentences, to show your language skills. Do not write as you speak or write in a text message words like oh my god and lol. So use complex compound sentences and simple sentences. Vary your sentences, and just check your tenses because people often get the tenses confused. Try and use participles. If you don't know what participles, look them up. I'll go through them. If you don't, just ask me. Proofread it. Always give yourself 5 minutes to proofread and correct your spellings. You need to read every day to improve your spelling ability, increase your word bank, and actually be able to write fluently, sophisticatedly, and cogently in a way that someone wants to read. You need to read every day. That means the newspapers, the Guardian, or any other newspaper you can lay your fingers on. A dictionary will not be allowed to carry in the exam, so make a habit to look up spellings in a dictionary as part of your 11 plus preparation. And I've also got some wonderful detailed vocab building exercises for you as well that we can go through. It's not just 11 plus, anyway, it's GCSE, you should read every day. A well-structured piece of writing. Separate paragraphs that are organised by characters, topic and time. Again, you need to be really careful to actually use at least 5 to 6 paragraphs. Put your most effort into your beginning paragraph because you need to grasp your reader's attention, and a good closing last line. Particularly your first paragraph is utterly important, and I suggest you put a semicolon in there. Check your writing. I can't say this enough. You need to leave enough time at the end of your writing to check your spellings, punctuation, grammar. Make sure you use a decent, sophisticated vocabulary, and just learn some words that you want to put in everything. Basically, words like pristine, which means immaculate and very clean. Good word. Most students won't be using that word. Use paragraphs. So make sure so many students forget paragraphs and forget to use interesting punctuation and grammar, and make sure that you can read your handwriting. I was very poor at handwriting. I think when I became a teacher, I realised that people couldn't read my stuff probably, and that's just a total waste of time. So make sure your handwriting is legible, and that practice writing in 30 minutes what you want to write. It's a good skill anyway. uh, Practice writing on different ideas and have a few sample essays or ideas written on different themes, and this will give you more confidence in facing the challenge in the exams. So what I do with my students, and what I'll be doing with you if I am your tutor, is we will be doing lots and lots of sample essays and ideas that you can actually use. You can reuse those ideas that you've got, and you can reuse them in the exam, and we'll be reading lots and lots of examples of it. You can steal bits of the imagery or the vocab or the sophisticated adjectival use or something there that actually you can use yourself. So that's why we read a lot, because it gives us lots and lots of ideas. Nothing new in this world. We can just rehash it creatively. So you need to have done at least 10 sample ideas or essays on different themes. Okay, and so now we're going to have a go at a creative writing task. Please do email me with a creative writing task if I'm not your tutor. I'll be very happy to have a little look at it. But if I am your tutor, you'll be doing lots of creative writing tasks. One of my favourite ones I want to do at the moment is looking at the BBC Amazing Humans, and then just write a little story, a news story about one of the amazing humans there. And one of the stories I want to write this week with all my students is all about a 77-year-old ballerina who still teaches and dances every day. That's a brilliant one. Or a special needs farm for animals, a farm for special needs animals run by a lady up in the north of England. Take a look at that anyway, and you could write some lovely news stories about that if you're short of ideas. Anyway, all right, so that's this week's Amazing Humans. I hope you like this creative writing PowerPoint. It's certainly a good start if you take advice from this. Take notes and enjoy.